What's up guys, I'm xraidse and welcome to the third video in the Explain series. Today I'm going to show you lots of clicking methods that you can do on controller. There's plenty of ways to click on a controller, and some of them can even get you up to 20 CPS, so you should try some so you don't have to resort to auto-clicking like everyone else in the community. But let's start with the obvious. 1 CPS, 2 CPS, or hit timing is where you hit the person once every half second. This could be difficult to master if you have high ping because you'll have to time differently than other people. If that's the case, after you learn 1 CPS, you can learn double timing, which is basically just clicking twice per hit instead of once. If you're fast enough, you could try timing 3 clicks, or jitter timing. Hit timing is much better for raw PvP game modes, but it's also important to learn some sort of consistent clicking method so when you mess up, it doesn't punish you as much. This is where normal clicking comes into play for most controller players. You can click consistent 4 or 6. To practice any of these clicking methods so far, just punch someone AFK in a corner and see if they'll go up for you. Before we continue to the overpowered clicking methods, feel free to subscribe if you learned something new. We're coming pretty close to 2K, so any support means a lot to me. The most common ways people click fast on controller is jitter clicking and butterfly clicking. Personally, I find jitter clicking easier to aim with, but harder to get combos because I only click 10. Butterfly you can get more CPS, but it's harder to aim for most people. If you have a comfortable way to butterfly click, you can butterfly time instead. This usually works a lot better on Xbox and Switch controllers because they can double click and have more clicky bumpers. You can also jitter click on any of the face buttons. Most people don't do this method because you have to change a lot of controls and learn how to claw grip. In my opinion, it's worth it, but only if you're right-handed. Left-handed is easier to jitter bumpers. Another way you can get consistently high CPS, but it's hard to aim with, is where you click with 2 different buttons at the same time. You can do this with your keyboard, or mouse, back buttons, paddles, or anything similar. For clicking something that isn't on your controller, you can rather use your pinky or your toe to click. Now at this point, you may think that there's no way to actually compete with any of these in sumo. Keyboard has been ahead of controller for a while because of the CPS advantage, which is why so many controller players auto-click. However, there are actually a lot of ways to burst click on controller. Granted, half of them I've never actually tested, so I don't know if they would be practical in game, but it couldn't hurt to share them. On PlayStation, the touchpad can actually drag click, so if you can find a way to grip your controller comfortably and actually drag the touchpad, you'll have a great time in sumo. If you're on Xbox, the bumpers can also drag click, but I've only seen people drag in this direction, so I'm not even sure if it's possible in PvP. Next is ball clicking. If you don't know what this is, it's basically drag clicking, but you don't actually touch the button. You just slide the trigger on your table with a small amount of force and it'll bounce. If you want to make this easier, you can actually just use a notebook. I'm not even kidding, I've literally seen somebody do this before. If you have $45 to spend, you can also buy a Pro Scroller attachment for a controller. You just put it on top of the controller and scroll, so obviously this is the easiest method in this video. If you play on console, you also need to buy a Zim so you can convert scroll inputs to controller inputs. If I missed any methods, feel free to comment them in the description. I'm sure lots of controller players are looking for every possible option. Thank you for watching, see you in the next upload.